Hi, Stampers. Welcome to Stamp and Go on June the 25th. I'm Sandy Harka with SandyLovesStamping.com. Tonight, we are going to be stamping with Wildflower Designs, which has a lovely set of designer paper that goes along with it called Wildly Flowering. We're going to be using some of that tonight also. If you would like a free card kit to make the cards that we are designing tonight, that would be 2 of each of the 3 designs. You can place an online order using a $35 order using the host code below. Now, if you place a $50 order, you'll get not only the free card kit, but you'll get a set of embellishments also. And now you're going to get embellishments in the free card kit to make your cards. The embellishments for a $50 order is an extra pack of embellishments. If you just want the measurements and the supply list, that link is below in the general information, okay? So if you look right below the video, there's a box down there and it's general information. That's where you'll find all the good information about this video. So how to place an order, the host code, how to get the measurements and supplies, and some other useful information. If you enjoy this, please subscribe to my channel, share it with all of your friends, and like it if you do like it. Okay, so let's get started. Give me a second here, and we will get started stamping. All right, this is the stamp set that we're using tonight. And it has a really cool set of not embellishments, of dies, and this is what the dies look like. You'll see that the inner section now comes out, and you can use that also. Not if you don't use it in the current project, then you can save those and use them for a later project, which is a really nice effect. All right, the first card that we are creating tonight looks like this. Let me move that camera just a little bit and get us centered a bit better. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Let's do this stamping first. I'm gonna lay this over to the side. We have little squares, little white squares that we're gonna be stamping on. And let me grab a mat here so that you can actually see that a little bit better. I'm just gonna place it right here so you can see where we're stamping. All right, we're going to use this little flower first. So we're going to ink that up and we're going to stamp it diagonally. So we're going to rock that just a little bit. Awesome. Okay, let's cover this up for a second. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of that background stamp. And we're going to do it in Moody Mauve. What we used before was the Memento ink because we're going to be using blends to color that in a second. Now, this is Moody Mauve, and it's a really new ink pen, and so it's got a lot of ink in there. So I'm going to stamp it on my ink pad, and then over at the side, stamp off a little bit, and then stamp it on my my image here. That reduces the amount of ink on there. Otherwise, it's really, really dark because this is really inked up right now. Okay, so normally I do not make you watch me do the coloring. And here we go. Here is what the colored image looks like. Now, this is fresh freesia, the dark fresh freesia. The green is light shaded spruce. Okay, so you've got that. All this information will be in the information that you can get online. So let's lay that over to the side. And oh, you know what? We need to do the background on here. There we go. Almost forgot that. All right, let's lay that over to the side. And the next image is going to be this one. And again, we have another little square here. So we're going to ink that up, and we're using Memento. And we're going to bring that down just a little bit. There we go. That looks good. And we're going to color that. And the colored image on this one is the light Petunia Pop. Now, if you don't have Petunia Pop, you can always use Freesia again. That will be fine. And then the green part is the light shaded spruce. Okay, awesome. So let's lay this one over to the side. The last one is this one. And I think that's Queen Anne's lace, but don't quote me there. I am not good on plants. All right, we're going to ink that up again with Memento. And we're going to bring it down just a little bit so that that flowery part is kind of in the center there. And again, we're going to color that just a little bit. And this one is done with the dark bubble bath. All right, so we've got our 3 squares. I'm going to cover up the ink pad and get that out of the way. And we're going to start by using our black background. So we have black ground, we don't need this anymore. All right, so we're going to take the images that we just stamped. And this is, you're going to have to be really careful because we don't have much of a border. Okay. So you're going to ink up or put a little glue on the backside. And you're going to center that just so that you have a bit of black showing around the edge. The next one is this one. You can see I'm using just small amounts of glue. Bring them in about 1/4 inch from the edge, and that way you have less chance of them oozing out. So now we have about 1/16 of an inch showing around the edges and between these two. And the last one is going down here at the bottom. So again, a little bit of glue and slide that right in there. Okay, we're good. Now, the butterfly is die cut from the glimmer paper, the new N color glimmer paper. Isn't that awesome? And this die comes from the sketched butterfly. So let me grab a glue dot here. And we're going to put a glue dot on the tummy. And this is going to fly about right there. Awesome. Now we're going to use some of the new faceted iridescent dots. These are really pretty. I'm going to use a large one in this square. And then we're going to use a small one in this square and another small one down here in the Queen Anne's lace. All right. Now we're going to flip that to the back side. And we're going to put dimensionals back there because in a minute, we're going to dimension this. Okay. Now lay that over to the side for a second. We are using a thick white background. So this is our card base. I'm just going to give that a scrape so it will lay down nicely and flat. We have a next layer is a piece of Boho Blue. Now this doesn't go all the way up to the top and the bottom because we're going to place the designer paper over that. It does come out to the side. So be sure that you center it top to bottom and center it side to side. You'll see much less white on the sides than you do the top and the bottom. Then we have a piece of designer paper that's going on next. And it is directional, so you might want to take note of that so you don't have it going upside down. I've done that. That's why I know to caution you. All right, this gets placed centered top to bottom. So now you have much less showing at the top and the bottom, but you have the blue showing on the sides. And so you can see that a little bit better. There you go. Awesome. Now we're ready to pop our square on. So I'm going to take off the dimensional tops. And this is going in this direction. So you want these going top to bottom and then side to side, the points of the square. So we're going to center that, make sure that you have about the same amount at the top and the bottom that you do. Now this will go all the way out to the edge on the sides. Okay. There you go. Your card is ready for sending. I love that butterfly in that new glimmer paper. That is so, so pretty. Okay, let's start on card number 2. Now, card number 2 looks like this. And you see we're using some more of the designer paper in the background. And these layers are simply awesome. I think not only with this set, but you'll use these a lot with other stamp sets. So let's get started with this one. I'm going to bring back my mat and the label. And we're going to stamp that with sending happy thoughts. So we're going to ink that up with Memento, not because we need Memento for this one. We're not doing any coloring on this label. There, we rock it a little bit so you get the top and the bottom of all those letters, okay? But just simply because we had Memento there. Now, we are going to flip this to the back side, and we're going to add 2 dimensionals in a little bit from the center, and you'll see why in a bit, why we're putting those in from the outer edges there. All righty. Lay that over to the side, and we're going to grab the white label. Looks like this. And we are going to use this stamp, and I need to clean that off because we used black ink on there. So let me just clean that off, make sure it's nice and clean. And we're going to use Boho Blue as our ink. So tap, 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 and then we're going to tilt this a little bit so that we have the flower showing at the top really well. The bottom doesn't matter so much because we're going to be covering that up with the greeting. All right, so we're done with the Boho Blue and our stamp. So let me move this mat out of the way, and let's start with the card base, which again is thick basic white. I use the thick because it's a little sturdier than the regular. And then we're going to pop on, this now opens at, I guess would be the side. So we're going to put that opening at the bottom. And this is our layer of designer paper. So we're going to, isn't that gorgeous? Don't quite know whether to use the top or the bottom on some of these. They're so pretty. Now this goes all the way out to the side, but you want to center it top to bottom because there's about 1/8 of an inch showing at the top and the bottom of your card base. Awesome. The next piece that goes on is your navy layer that's done with the big die. So we're going to put a little bit of glue on the back side. Little is the operative word here. And I think I got a little bit much there. Hopefully that won't cause us an issue. And now we're going to layer this right here. So you want to make sure you have about the same amount at the top and the bottom and the sides. So we'll do that. Press down. Very good. Now the next layer is the silver scallop layer that's going to go right there in the center. Now on this one, you don't have to, but I am going to use glue dots to hold that down. We don't have to worry about sitting there waiting for it to dry before we move to the next step. I am a fan of glue dots, and I'm sure if you've been in any of my classes, you know that I am the glue dot queen. All right, let's layer this in the middle of your navy, just like that. Okay, try not to stretch it like I had the glue dot stuck to my finger. You don't want to stretch that. All right, the next layer that goes on is going to be in the center. And for this, we can use a little bit of glue. And that is going right in the center of our silver frame. This is such a pretty set of frames. I really like that. Okay. Now, remember that we put the dimensionals inside. So we're trying to not hit the silver out there. So that's why we put the dimensionals close to the inside. And this is going to come up. We're going to leave about 1/8 of an inch of that white label showing and then center it the best that you can. There we go. Last thing, but not the least, because you know I like my glimmer, we're going to use 3 small rhinestones. And we'll put the last one, I would say, about there. That way we got our triangle going. All righty. Your card is ready for sending. I just think that is a really nice, pretty classic design. All righty. The last card is this one, and we are focusing on the Moody Mauve color. You can see that there. So the first thing that we're going to do is this stamp right here. And here is your die cut, and this is the one that we're using for this card. We're going to ink that up in Memento. Okay. Make sure I've got that inked well. You know what? I'm going to try that on the side. Yes, I thought so. In the center, it was not inking well. So I'm going to ink that up again. I'm going out to the edge because when we use these a lot, that center sometimes gets a little concave there. And so sometimes, yeah, there we're going a little bit better. So I'm going to ink up on the outside and make sure that center is inked well. Now for this one, I'm going to use my alternate technique. So I turn over my die cut and I try to center that on my stamp, just like this. And then press over the top of that. And whoops, there's our image. Okay. So we are coloring our image with the dark bubble bath. Here's dark bubble bath. We used that before. And normally I don't make you watch me color, but this one goes pretty quickly. So I'm going to do that while you're sitting there watching. Okay. Now, if you work better with the nib end, this is the brush end of your blend. Be sure to use the other end there. Sometimes I like that for smaller areas like stems or really tiny areas because I have better control over it than I do when I'm using this brush end. All right, there you go. Now let's cap our ink so we don't get messed up with that. And we're going to lay that over to the side for a second. Oops, here we go. So this is our card base. Awesome. And we're going to flip that to the back side. This embossing is done with dashing. It's a new folder. And so we're going to layer that right on top. The next piece that goes on is our, this is Misty Moonlight. And so I'm just going to add a bit of glue. Bit is the operative word here. I keep getting a little bit more than I need on these today. All right, center that top to bottom, side to side, and then just press. And I see I got a little bit extra there, so I'm going to dab that off. All right. The next layer that goes on is our white. And this we're just going to add bits of glue. Flip that over and center that. Now this white fills that area inside here. So this is one of those extra pieces that when I did it with Misty Moonlight, I had an extra piece. So I can use that later in a different project. The inner part here, this is the small one, is your designer paper, and it is slightly directional. So you'll want to make note of that as you're putting it on. And we're going to center that. So you see that white, that nice white frame there. Isn't that pretty? All righty. So we're going to grab back our stamped image, and we're going to add about 2 dimensionals. I think that's totally sufficient to the back side. And we're going to put this right here in the center. We're coming down, I would say, about 3/4 of an inch from the top. All right. We have a pretty little bow that's going to be, if you get your free card pack, that's already tied for you. I like to do that because some ladies have a little trouble with the bows and the knots. So I figure that's going to be an easy one for you. So right there on the stem, And then the last thing that we have to do here is add some rhinestones. And we're going to be very generous with our rhinestones. We're going to pop them in about 5 different places. So your card is going to sparkle like crazy. All right, one more, and that's going over here. All righty. Your card is ready for sending. I hope you enjoyed the cards tonight. Again, the set is called Wildflower Designs. If you would like 2 of each of these supply kits to make these cards, you can place an online order using the host code in the description below. The host code is down there, and your $35 order will get you the kits. If you place a $50 order, you'll, in addition to the card kits, you will get a pack of embellishments. If you just want the materials and the supply list, there is a link in the description below that gives you a link that you can go and get those. If you have any trouble with any of that information, you can always contact me. My contact information is below. Now, some of the ladies before have had trouble finding the description. If you're looking at this video, just lower your eyes right below the video, and there is a section down there called description. That's where you'll find it. Like I said, if you have any trouble with it, just get in touch with me and I'll be glad to get that for you directly. All right. Thank you, ladies, very much for being with us tonight. And I hope to see you at the next one, which is the second Tuesday in July. See you then.